Hello, world, and welcome back to Real Talk with ReZsaun, when nothing's off limits. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you are here with me, and I appreciate that. I am your host, ReZsaun Lewis. Now, here on Real Talk with ReZsaun, everything's debatable, so on any given week, we could be discussing anything from sports to music to politics. You name it, we discuss it. Now, for those who are new to the show, Real Talk with ReZsaun not only has a goal of spreading the word about the great things that are happening right here in the Low Country, but the people that are doing amazing things right here in the Low Country. And tonight, I have my special guest, my episode 85, Miss Danielle Lee. Thank you so much for joining me. How are you doing, ma'am?
I'm great. How are you? How are you?
I am great.
Outstanding.
All right. So, for those who do not know who you are, please introduce yourself to the audience.
I am Danielle Lee. I am the owner-operator of Integrity Hair Studio, LLC, which is located in Summerville, South Carolina. I am also the owner and founder of HTH Enterprise, as well as the Line Leaders Foundation. So I have a couple of things going on up the sleeve, but I live here in Summerville, South Carolina with my husband, Kenyatta, and my three wonderful children, Kennedy, Reagan, and Gabriel. So that's a little bit about me. I am a Marine, United States Marine Corps veteran. So there you have it.
All right. So let's slow walk your journey a little bit. All right. Okay. So the first thing that you said, I really want, let's get to the nitty gritty, the bottom of it. So where are you originally from?
I am from Eutawville, South Carolina. Eutawville. Okay. That's where I'm from. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the area. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, when they ask me where I'm from, a lot of times people will pick that bigger city and they'll say, "Oh, I'm from Charleston. Or I'm from wherever." I go, "I'm from Eutawville." And I remember when I was in college, they were doing the University 101, and the girl was like, where are you from? And I said, Eutawville. "Oh my God, we have somebody in the class from Utah." I was like, "No, not the state, not the state. I'm from Eutawville, South Carolina, Eutawville." So wonderful small town.
That's funny. So that's always an interesting point of reference for me, just because like I was in the Army in 2001 when September 11th happened, and when September 11th happened, the National Guard from the Low Country came to Fort Jackson, and so there were guys there, and they were saying, we're from Charleston. I'm like, I'm in Fort Jackson. I'm stationed there. So I'm so excited that there are people from Charleston at the place. I'm like, oh my gosh, people from Charleston, I might know them. So I go and I find the guys and I start talking to them. I said, "You're from Charleston, right?" And they said, "Yeah." I'm like, "What part?" And they're like, Monk's Corner.
That is not and that is not Charleston.
You're not from Charleston, bro.
Right.
I was like, you're not from Charleston. You're from Monk's Corner. In fact, I will tell you how far you are from Charleston.
Exactly.
You're so far from Charleston that I taught a group. I taught my first teaching job was in St. Stephen Elementary, which is right outside of Monk's Corner.
Right.
We went to Charleston for a field trip, and the kids were acting like we went to outer space.
Oh my gosh.
That's how far Monk's Corner is from Charleston.
That is hilarious, but it's so true. That is, I don't know why I am proud of where I'm from. So I always tell people I am from Eutawville.
Yes, Eutawville.
I don't even say Holly Hill because a lot of people know Holly Hill is Santee, which is still smaller, but Eutawville.
Right. I love that. So you grew up in Eutawville, and then you graduated from what high school?
Holly Hill Roberts High School, which is now Lake Marion, because they consolidated, I think, in Ellery and all of those in 2004 or something. But Holly Hill Roberts High School.
All right. And did you go straight from high school to the military, or was there a gap in the middle?
No, so I went straight from high school to the University of South Carolina in Columbia, and I did a year there. And after which I went, no, I don't want to do that. And then I went to Orangeburg Tech for a semester. And after that, I was like, no, let's do the military thing. And let me tell you what I did. I actually went to the Army's recruiter's office. I walked in their door first because my dad is a veteran. And he's a Vietnam vet for the Army. So I was like, I'm going to go to the Army. And I walked in the door, and nothing against Army soldiers, but the recruiter's demeanor and everything just was like, I was like, no, I'm not. And literally I walked next door And when I walked next door to the United States Marine Corps office, the recruiters were so like prestiged and they were just so wonderful. And I was like, and y'all uniforms look better. So okay, that's what we're gonna do.
I'm gonna let that roll. I'm gonna let that roll for the sake of this interview.
That's what happened. That's what happened.
I'm true blue Army. So I gotta, but definitely I understand like Marines definitely have, their way of life that definitely makes what they do so important. So shout out to you first of all. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you as well.
So as a woman in the Marines, what was that like for you?
It was, I don't want to say no different from the male aspect of the Marine Corps. It was, first of all, it's very little of female Marines. So our battalion only had like 2 platoons at a time that would go through, versus the Marine Corps. They had, oh my gosh, San Diego, California, that office, as well as Paris Island in Beaufort. We only had one place. The females could only go in one place. That was Paris Island, Beaufort, and we only had 2 platoons that would go at a time. And that was because it was just so few. But the actual knowledge, what we did, the grit, the grind, I feel that I pretty much did the same as the male. I mean, we did, it was wonderful. I loved it. I enjoyed every bit of being in the Marine Corps, and I would not trade it for a different branch at all.
Yeah. I say all the time, like, I think that everybody should go through basic training. I think everybody should go through basic training. It just, you learn so much about yourself and your limits in the military that I think everybody should go through basic training. Just if only for that experience of learning your limitations and the things that you can do. Because there was so many things I was afraid of before I went into the Army that really don't bother me that much today. So once you climb an 80-foot tower and sleep outside for a few days, there ain't a whole lot that can bother you.
Nothing. Eat MRE, when you starving, whatever. It's nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. Tuna. I think I like tuna now.
Yeah.
It's like.
Yeah. And like showers. Showers took a whole new. Showers took a whole new.
Showers. 10-second showers. When you're literally standing counting you down, and you're like, I didn't know I could wash this ass.
Yeah. You learn so much about yourself. So so how long were you in the military?
I was there for 3 years.
3 years. Okay. Yes. So you get out, and do you come back to the low country, or do you expand? Do you venture
Actually,
out?
when I got out, I went back. I went to Columbia. So when I came out initially, I went to Columbia, and I was in Columbia for 2 years. And then I came back down on this end, not to the low country, but back in the Eutawville area. I did that, and I think I made shop home for like a year and a half, because I then went to South Carolina State University, majored in political science and history. And then afterwards, I went back to Columbia because I got a job in the Columbia area.
Okay. All right. Cool. So you went back to the Columbia area. So is that when you decided to embrace your entrepreneur bug, or how did that work out?
That's really a big story, because my parents are entrepreneurs. My mom is an educator, retired educator from the Orangeburg School District 3. She, oh my gosh, what do you call it? She had 30 years, and she tarried, and national board certified. I mean, teaching the gifted and talented. But she also has, or had, because she just closed it, I think last year, senior assisted living facility. So she had that for 26, 27 years while, having the teaching and doing all that. My dad owned his own company as a brick mason. So he built houses, and I went out and built houses with him.
Oh, wow.
I'm such a tomboy at heart till it's like so ridiculous. So I will go out and work with him and build houses and do all of those things. I cut grass when I was younger, because I love the outdoors of that aspect. So I would cut grass, and I would, for the people in the neighborhood or whatever, and I, made a little change there. I sold those little bottles of oils, the perfume oils. I sold those. So I always had that type of, I can do sales, if you will. But I went into college. My first bout into college when I went to USC, I wanted to be a doctor, and I majored in biology, pre-med, and I sat in my first class in an auditorium, and I was like, this is not even happening because it was just that monotone. You know, the guy that does the dry eye commercial,
Yeah.
and his voice, and I was like, this is what I have to do. Like, oh God, no, I can't sit and do that. And so it wasn't until 2000, let's see, Kennedy was born in 2010. So it wasn't until 2010 that the full-fledged entrepreneurial venture actually came into existence. And that's when I'm like, you know what? I'm going to hair school. And it wasn't until then. So that's where that road started. But I did a lot prior to that. I did insurance sales, as well as working at Blue Cross and Blue Shield in the office for 4 years with health insurance.
Okay.
So well-rounded. My mom says I can do anything that's out there to be done.
Absolutely. And that's literally what happens is you end up building so many skills that you can use all those skills, and it's crazy how those things find ways to be useful for you, for sure, for sure. So opening Integrity. So Integrity was your first business, right? Because you said DA came later. So let's talk about Integrity Hair Studios. What's the vision behind Integrity Hair Studios, and what really separates it from other hair studios?
The vision behind Integrity Hair Studio is basically what the words are. The actual name of the business is Integrity Hair.
Yeah.
I want to deal with individuals that want healthy hair, and I want to maintain the integrity of their hair, not just doing a service because of money. Money is great, but you don't want to just do something just to do it. I want to make my clients feel happy. I want them to feel beautiful. Even with my symbol, a friend of mine, when she first saw it, she said, it looks like a heart. And she feels like I put my heart in everything that I do. And even with that, the IHS, and I was like, I didn't even see that. Like, I didn't even realize that when I designed it, I didn't realize that it was a shape of a heart, similar. Yeah. But the goal was that, this is a service I wanted to do, but also to bless others, because with the start of Integrity Hair Studio, I believe that God placed me in that, because I never, again, tomboy at heart, never thought I would be in the beauty industry doing hair and all of that, but placed me in that position so that I can touch people and actually be able to be a blessing and minister to them.
Oh, wow. Okay. So how long have you been doing hair? Have you been doing hair? Like, is that something you've always done, or
no? I started doing hair when I went to school. So in 2010 is when I started doing hair. Now I have a lot of stylist friends, and I would go to the salon to get my hair done. And I would go to the salon, and while I'm there and I'm sitting there getting my hair done, every time they would do something, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? What does that do for me? What should I do this at home? Like, I would always ask a lot of questions, very inquisitive. And I had stylists who tell me, why don't you do hair? I'm like, girl, I ain't doing this. Like, this ain't me. Like, ugh. And I would like really push it away. But once I learned what they did, I would then maintain it pretty well at home. And I know one of the first times that I guess you would say, quote unquote, hair thing sort of popped up, I was at my mom's house. I don't even know why. And I did not have shears. I had the kitchen scissors. And she said something about getting her hair cut. I was like, let me do it. Hair was no way near it, like at all. I wasn't in school. And I cut her hair. And my uncle was like, shoot, this is what you need to do. It just did this, because again, I just did it just because I was like, I can do it. I see what they do. I did pretty good. It wasn't that bad, but I had no idea what the graduations were and how I was supposed to have my hands turned. None of this. So I did it. But once I did, and after other things happening in life, like I said, I'm having my daughter, and I worked at assisted living facility where I managed like a $1 million budget for a major company, and I was the executive director there. So I ran the building, and I was doing great. I got pregnant, and I'm like, yay, I'm pregnant. But then when it was time to have my child, I didn't have enough FMLA I was like right at 9 months
Yeah.
there, and they were like, okay, so we're gonna have to lay you off, but we're just gonna lay you off to be rehired, but we have to do it that way. I was gonna be able to go back to the same place, and that didn't happen. They wanted to send me somewhere way out, and I was like, that's not gonna work. And then all of a sudden I saw a commercial, and Paul Mitchell doesn't really advertise commercial wise, but I saw a commercial. No, it was a news clipping or something that they had just opened up a school here in the Charleston area, and I was like, oh, I'm going to hair school. That was it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now, did you go into being a beautician with the expectation that you were going to open a shop, or was it just I'm going to do hair, and then I was like, if I'm going to do hair, I might as well open a shop?
No, when I went though, I knew while I was in school that eventually I was going to own a salons, expand. Like I knew that was in me to expand. And not only that, I met a wonderful educator there, became a mentor of mine. It was like when we locked eyes, she was like, wherever I go, you're going. And I was like, you're crazy, because it was just like so weird. But literally I ended up like being an apprentice, if you will, a little bit while in school, following her like in her salon while I was in school, like shampooing hair. I couldn't do hair, of course, but I would shampoo and I would just watch and I would just learn. And then when she opened up her salon, she took me there when she was doing everything, and I was like, well, this is my spot. And she was like, all right, you got to get your license first, type of thing. But I got my license, and boom, I ended up working with her, and I learned a lot. And just with the training and the education and the knowledge that she poured in, I was like, that's what I want to do. Like, I wanted to do it. I mean, she really impacted me a great deal in that aspect. So then I knew salon, that's what I was going to do. I wanted to be somewhat like a learning training center, because I wanted to help other people like how she helped me.
Wow. Okay, cool. So how long that was? So 2010, you went to school. You got your license when?
2011.
2011. Word. Okay. So now here we are. When do we move into our own shop? When does that happen?
2013.
Okay. So how'd that come about?
With several different things, but mainly it was like growth. Let me say this. I've always been a person that was just like, I'm ready to go. And even when I started working with my mentor, I went commission first.
Yeah.
And everything was 50-50. And I was afraid. I'm just a fear. I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I would do things like, for one, like weave expert. Like she can do everything, but she was phenomenal with weaving. And so if anybody came to want to get a sew-in, I would, because I jumped out my chair so fast. I'm like, oh, let me go and meet the people. So I'm out giving out cards and meeting everybody. But if they said that they wanted to get a sew-in, I was like, okay, well, let me give you to her. And it was like, wait, what are you doing? And she was like, what are you doing? And she was like, oh, okay, so you good with quick weaves, but you can't do a sew-in? All right, get your mannequin, bring it tomorrow. So she trained, and it was that type of thing. But even in that process, within like a month, I don't even think I was there a month, she was like signing my check to me, my paycheck, and she was like, I'm taking your money. And I was like, what are you talking about? You're not taking my money. She was like, I'm taking your money. She was like, look at this. And when I looked at the commission, if it's 50%, and I'm looking at what I'm getting, I was like, wait, you taking my money? Hold on. And she was like, fly bird, let's go. And we went to a hair show. It was more of a training, because we went to the premiere in Orlando, and we were driving back from I was driving back from the premiere, and I literally saw a bird. I'm driving, so this is weird, right? So God, thank you for sustaining. But I'm driving, and I saw a bird flying in the air. And what was weird about it, it was soaring, and I literally saw the air underneath its wings, which I've never known anybody to see that.
Right.
So it was just like, and I was like, I'm driving, and I'm like, that's interesting. And I literally heard, if I can keep the bird elevated, why don't you think I could do the same for you?
That's good.
I told her like the next week, I was like, we talked about it. And then when we made our split, you know, even though we split, we were in the same building, but we made, and I mean, that's when it happened. So 2013, I was like, okay, God, this is what you said. All right, let's do this.
Wow. Wow. So a lot of, I know a lot of people, you know, think that it's really easy to do what it is that you do. What are the things that make it difficult to do the job of owning a beauty salon?
Ownership of the actual hair portion.
I mean, I'm on the ownership side. I mean, the hair stuff definitely, but the ownership piece is that the part that I always want people to think about.
You really have to make sure that your ducks in a row. When I say your ducks in a row, I'm talking about financially. You have to make sure you have a good business plan. You need to actually know the demographics of your area that you're in, because let's say, for instance, you could be doing hair in Monk's Corner. Let's use Monk's Corner, and I'm doing hair in Somerville. The demographics are different. The median range of pay from families are different. So then that means your rent payment to your landlord and everything for your building is going to be different, because all of that takes a play. So then if you're doing, I'm just gonna throw this number out there, a $55 relaxer in Monk's Corner, and I'm doing a $75 relaxer here in Somerville, there's a reason.
There's a reason. Yeah.
And you have to think about your money and where you're putting your monies in, and how you're gonna, because you gotta pay yourself. Like you should have two different accounts, one for your business and one to pay yourself. This pandemic really pushed that. Like, people were like, well, I don't have a business checking account. And it's like, well, you need a business checking account for us to give you some money for this PPP loan. Like, you know, you have to have a separate means, or be able to really hone in and separate things so well. So the business aspect, you have to have a good business mind, or have somebody in your corner that is true in your corner and that can really push you and not cover you, if you will, in the sense of, like, if you say, I'm going to buy this $10,000 chair, boo, you ain't got $10,000. You don't have that to spend. Let's go back. The $300 chair is just as nice. You know, somebody that's going to keep you on the straight and narrow with your finances. That's a big major thing. And then you have to think about when you have people that are working with you and for you, if you will. Most of the times when you have somebody come in these days in a salon, they're coming in as you would say, an independent contractor or a booth renter versus somebody on commission. So as a booth renter, they have their own license, they have their own booth renter's license. So they're independent. However, they're in your salon. So you're going to have to now be able to mesh that together. I know you're independent, but here's the rules and regs for my salon. Like your attitudes, your mental capacity, you have to do like crazy interviews with people to make sure you mesh. And that's even in the real world of like the stylist and client. Like every client is not going to be able to stay in my chair or sit in my chair, because you really have to mesh. You have to get together. So business wise, it's not as easy. I would say always have some cash in reserve. So 50,000. If you can save 50,000, that's like the minimum that you should have in reserve, so that you won't have to go in. Honestly, if you can go in without renting and buy a building to cultivate and make your own, that's almost like the best thing to even do. Because when you look at the money, you're like, oh my gosh, I spent that much. When you're spending $50,000 a year to a landlord, you know, so then you're like, I could have bought the building. You know, so, and I'm throwing numbers out there, like, you know, just throwing, but still,
definitely.
You know, that's what I would definitely say. Make sure you can get take financial classes. And have a financial advisor. I learned that, I won't say on the back end, but like in the middle. Like I knew it, but I did it in the middle. And had I done it really in the beginning, I think things would probably be a little bit smoother. But yeah, if you can get those things earlier, make sure your insurance plan is on point. It's just a lot. It's draining, because you're in business. So whatever you want to put out for your business, it has to start here. So your personality, your appearance, your everything, just that's your baby. So you want to make sure that you you get it right from the jump.
For sure, for sure. So let's roll into DH Enterprise. What is DH Enterprise? What does it mean? What can we expect from it?
So DH Enterprise, I formed that to house all of the many businesses that I'm venturing into.
Mhm.
So if you can see like on the banner behind me, DH Enterprise is like the main thing that you see, but then you see Integrity Hair Studio there. You may see the logo for the Lion Leaders Foundation there, because all of that is gonna roll up under DH Enterprise. But DH Enterprise is, my initials, Danielle, well, my last name is Lee-Hodges, so Danielle Hodges Enterprises. And so I that came about because I just knew multiple streams of income, multiple streams. And I need multiple streams. We all need some type, especially entrepreneurs. And so I believed that was why that baby took place, because I need you to house my work or my mentor. So that's where
Nice.
GS Enterprise came from.
Well, that's awesome. So line leaders. Let's talk about line leaders, because you've mentioned it a couple times, and I want to make sure I have an understanding of what that is. So what is line leaders?
So the Lion Leaders Foundation was birthed out of me pretty much last year or in 2018. And it's a foundation that's geared toward young people or youth, young adults. And that is to help them with small business, finances, leadership, mentorship, understanding and learning about finances before going into business, doing those things, assisting them in what endeavors that they have. So with my clients, I have clients that are coming and saying I have young and old, older, seasoned, I'm sorry. But I have a wide range of clients, and they'll come in and they'll sit and they talk, just like, they're talking and they're asking questions about different things, and some things I can answer and some things I couldn't. And I'll be like, I need to research this and get back to you. But when I kept getting certain questions, certain things, and I'm like, you know what? And I'm looking at the audience it's coming from, and when it's coming from the young adults, then it's like, holy smoke, like they're asking me at a good right time. I'm 45. I started really honing in and knowing about finances the way I should at about 40 or older. When I grew up, my mom and dad was like, save your money, go to school. Like, that was it. Save your money, go to school. We didn't have financial planning. We didn't have okay, let's get this bank account, let's pull this checkbook out. You're gonna buy this, what you're saving, it wasn't that. And it's almost like what you're taught from when they were younger, how they were taught. They were taught and they did it. Go to school, save your money. So they good, But then it's like, us in that generation, it's that cycle, but it changes. Every generation is different, and the technologies and all these different things, they're so different. I will not forget, I promise. This was so funny. I was at my mom's house and my baby sister was there, and she had her checkbook out and she was like looking at it like, what am I supposed to do with this? She's 10 years younger than me, but she was looking at her checkbook like, what is this about? Like, and this was years ago, years ago. And I laughed because I'm like, this chick don't know how to balance a checkbook. In my head, I was like, but in her age range, everything is swipe.
Yeah.
So a checkbook, who needs that? But it's important because for business management and stuff, you need to know how to do certain things. And so the Lion Leaders Foundation, I wanted to start challenging youth, entrepreneurs, those that are wanting to start their own business, those that probably don't want to start their own business, but if they want to be a doctor, then how do I need to go about attacking student loans or not, different things like that. Those that already own their businesses, I'm trying to get more funding. How do I write a grant? So my first event that I had, major event, opening event, was June 7th through the 9th. I did it at the Embassy Suites on International Boulevard, and I had former NFL defensive end Chris Canty come.
Mm-hmm.
And he also has a foundation that gears towards youth, the Chris Canty Foundation. So I was like, you know what? I want him to come and talk to individuals and stuff. And I had some younger people there. I had a couple of in the age range of like 17 to maybe 20. And then you had that like 25 to like 30. And it seemed like everybody else were like my age or older.
Right.
But he came in, I had Gary Lee come from the Chamber of Commerce come in and talked about the small businesses and how you hit the chambers. I had Portia Prelo come in at a retired colonel in the United States Air Force come in, and she literally handled budgets like the Pentagon military, like crazy budget. Like that's that, and she does that now. She's crazy. Well, not work with them now, but budget wise. So she came and talked with financial, and Mr. Carlisle came in. And he's also United States Air Force retired colonel. And he came in and talked about leadership and mentorship. Okay. So he had all of those people at that one time there to discuss. I'm hoping I'm not missing anybody. I don't think I am. But discussing those things for these individuals, lion leaders. Why lion? Lion leaders, because lions they have tenacity and they go out. I need to take on camera, but that's what they do. They have that brave, fearless, let's go get it. And I want the younger people that are coming behind me to be fearless. Don't be afraid to be an entrepreneur. Don't be afraid to, have your dream or do your dream, but learn how to do it. Don't just jump. Learn the process. So that's what the Lion Leaders Foundation is about.
I love that. I love that. Through your foundation, you're trying to find ways to enhance the world around us. And that's what this is all about, is making sure that, not only that we get for ourselves and for our families, but for the larger community, we leave the world a better place than we found it. So definitely. I got some questions I wanted to ask you. I've been playing with some stuff like formatting. So I've been wanting to try out these quick hit questions. So hopefully, it works out well. What is your highest high in life? What's been your highest high?
Wow,
yeah, see? Quick hit questions.
That's a quick my highest high in life was having my kids. I think that was my highest, because just the fact of going through it, and the adrenaline and everything that deals with it, and for someone that also, was challenged with fertility, then to have them, it was like, yes. So I think that would be my highest high.
Okay. What's your lowest low?
Failure. And when I say failure, the lowest low is the fear of not really succeeding the way I felt like I should, and the timing. But so I think just fear is good though, because it helps you. But the lowest low would be when my business didn't do what I thought it should have done, or how it could do at the present moment, and I'm like, I failed.
Okay.
I think that's a lowest low.
That makes sense. What is your favorite quote or scripture?
My favorite quote or scripture. It's funny because I know the scripture is Jeremiah 29:11. And for some reason, I know the plans that you have for me, say and I'm like, I can't remember the scripture. But that is my favorite scripture, because he knows my plans. The times that I failure, that my lowest low, and it was like, but I know the plans that I have for you, saith the Lord. Yeah. And so it's like, why am I trying to do it? Like, let him order my steps. Let him do it. So that's my favorite scripture.
I love that. Last movie that you watched?
Frozen 2.
Frozen 2? Really?
Yes, I have 3 kids.
Oh, true.
But I like cartoons, westerns. I like animated. My last movie was Frozen 2.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. I
But
heard bad
it was
reviews.
recent. It was recent.
Yeah.
It was a, you know, I mean, I didn't go to the movie theater
Yeah.
to watch it. I watched it on Disney Plus. Not too long
Okay.
ago.
Yeah. I know that. And then what's the first thing you're gonna do when the quarantine ends and you can go outside for real?
I'm not going outside. I'm gonna wait on everybody else to
No,
go
when you do
first.
go outside though, when you do really
What
go
am I gonna
outside.
do? I'm going to. The first thing I'm gonna do, probably take the kids and the family, like the family, go somewhere and just like go. Well, it's probably not gonna be the beach for summer,
Yeah.
because we're gonna be. But whatever I can do as a family with my kids and family and go out,
Yeah.
that'll be the first thing.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much. This has been really cool. I've enjoyed this.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
There's no problem, and you know we're all in this quarantine time, so we're all locked in. But you know,
Right.
if ever you have an event coming up with line leaders, or you know, for the DH Enterprise that you want to promote, you're always welcome to come back to Real Talk with ReZsaun. I'm so glad to have people like you who do great things like you do. So thank you so much.
Thank you, and look forward to it, because I am going to be doing some more line leader stuff in the very near. Well, I was going to do it before the quarantine hit. So now, you know, things having to shut down and stuff. So, but there are some things in the works for the line leaders coming up very soon. As soon as the quarantine is over, after I go out with the family.
Yes.
That's what you're going to see.
All right. Is there anything that you want to say to the audience before we close?
No, but those not majorly, but for those that are listening, for those that tuned in, for those that are even going to be watching the replay, thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time to listen to myself and ReZsaun talk about Danielle Lee, talk about the things that I am doing in the future for myself, my new branding, because I am branding Danielle Lee. And it will be DanielleRLee.com is that website for my brand. But just thank you so much for tuning in, for listening in, because you did not have to take the time to do so. So I appreciate it. And for those that are looking at the replay, you know, as ReZsaun said in the beginning, we ain't mad that you didn't do it live.
Right.
But we really appreciate you all taking the time out. Stay safe. Stay home. If quarantine is extremely serious, people are dying out there, and some people are taking it lightly. They're ready to go back. They're ready to do some things. But I will implore that please stay home, stay safe. It's not worth not being able to spend time with your family members at some point. So just take care of yourselves. And again, thank you, ReZsaun.
All right, thank you. And let me do my close real quick, and then we'll get out of here.
Bye, everyone.
Hold 1 second. Thank you so much for watching this week. Remember that the show is now split. Actually, it's not split. I do it every Wednesday night for 7 p.m. But that's when I interview my local celebrities. And on Sundays at 7 p.m., I do my normal show. This week, actually tomorrow, I'll be doing an interview with a nonprofit discussion with leaders of nonprofit organizations throughout the state of South Carolina. I actually have Miss Ebony Young from Newberry, South Carolina, Miss Shane Kenlock from Columbia, South Carolina, Mr. Victor Durrell from Greenville, South Carolina, and the last person, Nicole Eccles from, sorry, my dog is barking. Nicole Eccles from the PD area. We're going to be talking about the response of the nonprofit sector to, excuse my dog, I'm sorry. The response of the nonprofit sector to this COVID epidemic and how it's been impacting people. If you are doing something in the community that you would like a light shined on, please reach out to me on my website. That's www.realtalkwithrezaun.com so that we can discuss getting you on the show. This and all my shows, in addition to the Card Chronicle series, is now available for your listening pleasure via Apple, Google, Spotify, and any place else you can find podcasts. You can also find it on my website. That's www.realtalkwithrezaun.com. If you'd like to be made aware of when I go live, because sometimes it is unscheduled, please be sure to click the follow tab on the page and turn on the notifications so that you will know when something new has been posted to the page. In the meantime, Please follow me on social media to stay up to date on what's going on with Real Talk with ReZsaun. Pretty much anywhere you go, type in Real Talk ReZsaun and you will find me. Feel free to leave comments, questions, whatever else you'd like to say in the comment section or the message section. I love reading your messages and getting your feedback, even if it's negative. Why? Because I do not seek to be told how great I am, but I seek to become as great as I possibly can be, and that only happens through honest feedback. I am also currently accepting invitations for speaking engagements and event hosting opportunities. If you'd like for me to speak at or host your event, you can request me through my website. That's www.realtalkwithrezsaun. In closing, always remember, God is everything, and without him, we are nothing. So never forget where your help comes from. And if a man doesn't stand for something, he's bound to fall for anything. Now that is real talk. I'll see y'all tomorrow night. Peace.